Hi, my name is Rob Salter from the Salters Group Recruiting. Today, we're going to be going over the management trainee position over at CED. Scott Mayer is joining us to talk about this position. Scott, thanks for joining us. Could you please introduce yourself? Let us know how long you've been with CED, how you heard about CED, and what your current title is over at CED.
Yeah, my name is Scott Mayer. I'm a recent college grad, 2020, coming out of Chico State. I've been with the company for just about 3 years. I'm now currently a branch manager for CED. Right before I graduated college, I was attending career fairs and digging through LinkedIn. And at one of the career fairs, I found CED, started talking with the recruiter, and he kind of gave me insight of what the company has to offer and the opportunities. Did my own further research and found that it's a great company.
Awesome. So yeah, the management trainee position is very fresh for you, so you'll be able to give us a really good perspective there. Even though, I know on your day to day now as a branch manager, because you wear so many different hats, it probably does seem like a lifetime ago. But I wanted to see what type of person do you think is a good fit for this trainee position?
I don't think that there's a single type of person that would thrive in this. Given the business model of CED, we have a lot of different management styles. So we're open and welcoming to any type of individual. But I think someone that would thrive in this position is someone who's very driven. For me personally, I was money motivated, and there's a lot to be made here. Someone who likes a challenge, learning new things. Another good trait is someone who kind of has an entrepreneurial spirit. Being a branch manager, you kind of get to run the business how you see fit, and the decisions are really made at the branch level.
Awesome. I know a lot of people that are watching this video, they don't have any flexibility in their current position. So I think that's a piece that we can touch on later and that, will be a really good fit for most people. One thing I know is, pretty much everybody watching this video has their bachelor's degree or is about to get their bachelor's degree. So they see that part of the training position that involves being in a warehouse setting. And for some people, they just have a stigma about working a warehouse, or they don't think they're a good fit for a warehouse without really knowing much about it. Could you shed some light there? And maybe, some people will decide after hearing this that they might actually want to be working in a warehouse.
Yeah, so the warehouse phase of the training, that's the very first phase, and it is the shortest phase of the training. Being at the branch manager level that I'm at now, I see the importance of the warehouse position. It's kind of the whole blood of the business. We can't thrive, grow, or really run our business without the warehouse. Throughout the warehouse training, you do learn a lot. You get forklift certified. You learn organizational skills, you learn inventory management skills, and you really develop kind of an overall better sense of the business by doing just what seems like a not important part of the training program or the business. The warehouse is very important. It's a very crucial pillar to the business. Not every single day is going to be the same in the warehouse. You learn a lot from shipping to receiving, and like I said, you get forklift certified. Yeah, you really just develop your inventory management skills there and learn how crucial the warehouse role really is.
I know a lot of people watching this video, they're coming from a sales background, probably a very different sales position than the one at CED, probably a sales position that most people get burnt out on, within less than a year, either that's involving like heavy cold calling or door knocking, just very tough sales jobs. So I wanted to see, what was the sales process like for you now and being a trainee? And what were your thoughts on selling at CED?
Yeah, so I know that the cold calling and door-to-door sales is you can burn out really quick doing that. As far as sales go with CED, there's three different types of sales. You have your counter sales, which is kind of your day-to-day walk-in customers. You have inside sales. That is where you're helping out your account holders, making sure that you get their deliveries out on time. Then you do outside sales, which is my favorite part of the whole training program, and I still get to do it a ton as a branch manager. That's where you're either acquiring new business or you're maintaining relationships with your big account holders. And the way you can maintain those relationships is taking them to basketball games, baseball games, taking them out to dinner, taking them golfing, whatever it takes to maintain that relationship or foster a new relationship. You kind of have these three different aspects of sales. Not every single day is going to be the same selling. Some days are going to be easier than others, but you really do learn a lot about the industry. You learn a lot about electrical through the sales. When I first started with CED, I had no idea what electrical was. I had no experience or background in it. Through the training program, really quickly, I was able to learn basic electrical sales, part numbers, and kind of how things fit together. Not only are you just trying to sell products to customers, but you are also doing a lot of what we call value engineering. So we get a lot of kind of blueprint plans sent to us, and we're able to kind of build a project based off of these blueprints. And you really see the products that you're selling get put up in the real world. There's a lot of gas stations that I help build, just the electrical, and it's really nice and fulfilling to see that the sales that you're making are actually going and doing something, within the community, whether it's building a park, a building, a house. You really get to see where your sales kind of land.
Yeah, I would say if you haven't tried relationship, business to business sales, definitely give it a go, even if you have a sour taste in your mouth from, your previous sales experience. I want to see, Scott, how you think this entry level role differs from a lot of the other entry level roles you hear about. I know for me, I haven't been through the management trainee role, but from what I hear about is no 2 days are really the same. So you get a lot of variety. It's not one of these roles where you're going to hit your cap and like learning everything about the role in like 3 months and then you're just doing the same thing over and over again. It also, just gives you a whole 360-degree view of the business, where most entry level roles I hear about, it's like, hey, we're going to teach you to do this one little small part of the business. Just get really good at that and don't worry about how the rest of the business works. So those are the big things for me. I want to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah, I think you touched on a lot of the important ones. With this position, you're never going to be stagnant. As soon as you kind of start to feel comfortable in whatever phase of training you're in, whether that's warehouse, the counter, inside sales, as soon as you kind of start to get comfortable with that, you're going to move to the next level up. Like you said, no 2 days are going to be the same. A lot of entry level positions, like you said, I think you kind of get handed the task or a set of duties and you master those, and then it kind of feels like you're on autopilot. Here, that's never going to be the case. Even to this day, as a branch manager, I'm still learning new things kind of every single day.
You graduated back in 2020. I know you said earlier when we were speaking that, money was a good motivating factor. And I think a lot of people who go into business, that is a great reason why to get into a business type job. But I wanted to see, because I think money is very important, but it's also just because you take the highest offer to begin with, like the highest base salary, whether that's one job is, 65K and the other job's 50K. That doesn't mean after a year or 2 years, the 50K job is going to be less. So before I ask this question, I just wanted to preface, that's something really important to think about is, career trajectory. What's your ceiling there? So basically what I wanted to ask you was, what were the things that were important to you when you were graduating in 2020, looking for a job? And then, how have some of those things changed and what's really important to you now?
Yeah, so I think when I was seeking a job, probably as most college grads are thinking, they want to try to land a job that pays really, really well right out of the gate. A lot of my friends had great jobs that were paying right out of the gate, but really little incentive or growth as far as their wages go. With CED, when I started, you might not be right off the bat, you might not have the biggest wage, but I can tell you being 3 years in, I'm making more money than I ever thought I was. And a lot of my friends that took these kind of higher paying positions right off the bat, I've surpassed kind of what they're making in just a short time. And it's only going to be going up from here. The business model that CED provides being a profit sharing type business model, your wages in compensation are kind of uncapped. It's very performance driven. So if you put in the work, you're going to see that reward through your wages and compensation. I think that was probably very important to me when I started, but it was after talking with people in the company, kind of getting an insight on that topic of uncapped potential is where I kind of made the sacrifice, like, okay, I'll take a little bit less right off the bat. And 3 years in, the quickest 3 years probably of my life, I'm making more than I ever thought, and very fortunate to be, with this company and be able to have the compensation that I'm at. Another thing that I was looking for was a company that not only supports its employees, but handles changes within the environment. So when I started with the company, it was in the middle of the pandemic and everyone kind of had their hands up in the air, like, what do we do? Speaking with the recruiter that gave me the offer, after speaking with him, kind of like, hey, what's going on with this whole pandemic in the company? He reassured me that we're not going anywhere. The business model is super flexible and we can adapt to major changes within the market and the economy. We actually had some of our best years over the last few years during the pandemic, even when other other businesses and stuff weren't doing so well, CED was remaining at the top and just continuing to grow. Another important aspect for me was like kind of a work-life balance. I didn't want to be put in this position and then being told, hey, you have to be here, working 14, 15-hour days. That's not the case here. While there's plenty of opportunities for overtime like that, that's not going to be the case. And really, when you're in the office, it doesn't feel like you're at work. Everyone here is very welcoming. And especially for the manager trainees, you have a ton of support, from the manager support to other salesmen within your office to the warehouse employees. You just have a whole group support from all these individuals. And so that was really important to me right when I started. And now that I've kind of gotten to the branch manager position, what's important for me now is seeing my team grow, seeing my branch grow. I am putting in a little bit more hours now that I'm a branch manager, but the rewards that I'm reaping from seeing my employees grow and develop is fulfilling, and it's unmatched. It's priceless at this point. So that's been kind of like my key focus, and what's really important is how can I make others thrive and make money.
And I know we touched on a lot of good stuff there, but I wanted to see, the conversations that you're having with your friends that, aren't working with CED, and, are 3 years now into their careers. How are their opportunities different from, your opportunity? What are some of the pain points that they're telling you 3 years in that you're like, wow, I'm really glad that I don't have those same issues with my career path with CED?
Yeah, I think some of the pain points that my friends are experiencing with some of their positions at other companies is they feel stagnant. They've kind of mastered their duties there, and it feels like they're on autopilot. And the growth incentives that they're getting as far as wages and stuff is probably not as much as they thought initially. The thing about CED, which really kind of drove me to accepting the offer with CED, was a lot of my friends took these positions and they figured out, this isn't what I want to do. This isn't what I like. And they quit and they get a new job, and they're kind of starting from ground zero again. Here at CED, you get so much different exposure to different roles within the business that while you can move up in the company, you can also move laterally. So there's a lot of cases where there's branch managers for many years, and then they realized, hey, I'm really into IT. And it was really easy for them to transition to the IT department. There's a lot of opportunities from within and a lot of career growth from within CED. I think another thing I noticed with my friends is they're just not happy with their company. They don't feel supported during these kind of uncertain times or that we had over these last few years. A lot of them were staying up, stressed at night. Like, am I going to have a job in 2 weeks? Am I going to have a job next month? Never once have I ever felt like that with CED. I've never questioned my job stability or career with CED. And, it's just something that helps me sleep better at night, and just one less thing I got to worry about, each day.
That's awesome. Those are really good points to, really think about getting into your career, that nobody in college, no professor, nobody's telling you to think about that stuff unless, you have a really good, parental mentor or older sibling or something like that. But I know I wasn't thinking about all that stuff you just mentioned when I was choosing my first job. So really important to people out there who are getting into their first careers, just to consider that kind of stuff. For me as a manager, my favorite part of being a manager is being able to teach someone on my team a new skill or just help them get better at their job. I notice when someone gets better at their job, I mean, they just become more confident all around. And it's really awesome to be able to do that, provide that, and just see that with your team members. So want to see if you had, a personal kind of touching story where you had the same feeling. So could you share something like that with us?
When I first took over my branch, one of my employees, she was my accountant. She was in the accounting department. She was in charge of paying the bills, making sure we were getting paid, and doing kind of office manager duties. I saw a lot of potential in her for sales, and so I sort of cross-trained her and got her confident in selling just within a short 6 months. Within those 6 months, she's now my top salesman. And so just being able to watch her develop and grow her business and sales skills was something that, was really rewarding for me to see. And so there's a lot more opportunities for her to grow and continue to showcase her skills that she's learned and to sharpen and hone in on those skills. But 6 months ago, she was just doing the accounting side of things, and now she's one of my top salesmen.
That's really amazing. That shows you all the, training that goes in the management trainee program, that you're only 3 years in, but you're able to do this and make your employees around you much better, teach them new skills, even teach them whole new positions that are a better fit for them. So we touched on this already, but because it's so important between what's happened with COVID, now what's going on in the economy, inflation. Just tell us again, how do you feel about the stability of your career at CED and then just the overall electrical distribution industry?
Yeah, so specifically at CED, the business model that we have, it's kind of a bottom up, like I mentioned earlier. The decisions are made at the branch level, and then whatever decisions you make, you're going to have that support from upper management. Each location has a different market. Not everyone's going to be in a residential market. There might be some commercial markets that these CEDs are in. So as a branch manager, you have the flexibility to serve whatever market you need. When it came time to when things were starting to slow down and there was these uncertain times during the pandemic, we were able to adjust our focus here, specifically at our branch. We focused in on a lot of the homeowners and residentials, and we grew almost twofold over the last 2 years, just making that adjustment. While there are supply chain issues, I think that's affecting every single industry. The electrical industry as a whole has kind of prevailed, and we've been able to stay on track with projects. We've been able to provide material, while some other industries were kind of just stuck at a halt. I think the electrical industry has kind of grown as a whole over these last couple years. I think one thing that kind of stands out to me is even during a pandemic or recession or whatever, there's still going to be construction projects going on. There's still going to be building that needs to be done. There's still going to be remodeling that's going to be done. So it's a business that can't be replaced by online retailers. You still need that face-to-face contact. I think overall in the last few years, the electrical industry has just been thriving. I know this past year was by far my best year, and I don't know if that's true for every industry. I don't know if every industry can say that, but very, very happy and fortunate to be within the electrical industry.
Well, Scott, that is it for today. Thank you so much. I know a lot of people are going to be watching this video, and it's going to be really helpful for them when making their decision, their next career move. So thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Rob.
Bye.
Bye-bye.